Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Crypto. My name's Don. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching today's video. If you are watching it live, hello, good morning. I hope you all have a coffee and are ready to get through today's video. You may have seen from today's description that XRP, our beloved XRP, has hit $50 and I am rich, and this will be the last coffee and crypto ever as I'm moving to the Bahamas. So it was nice to know you all, but yeah, I'm over, I'm done. $50 per XRP, can you imagine? Obviously, it's not true, all right? I'm going to get into that plus more and what's actually happening in the news the past few days and why XRP is apparently showing as $50 per XRP. Now, first things first, before we move into that, let's look at the top 10 crypto prices as ever. Let me just refresh this to make sure we get the true actual numbers here. There we go. So first of all then, Bitcoin is currently sitting at 29,354. We then have Ethereum at 1,845. BNB at $240. XRP at 63 cents. We then have Dogecoin at 0.07. Cardano, 29 cents. Solana, $24. And then lastly, we have Tron at 0.07. So, again, I feel like I've been saying this the past few weeks, but there's really not much movement in the market. There's not a whole lot going on. It is, I guess, quote unquote, boring. And well, this is actually the most it should be the most exciting time for you as an investor. However, it's hard because yes, it is boring. Nothing's happening. There's mixed news articles. There's some positive. There's some negative. The SEC are creeping back up. So yeah, just know that how you're feeling right now, you're supposed to be feeling that exact way. So don't overthink it. Don't panic. Stay cool. Stay calm. Stay collective. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. So, like I said, there is a lot to get through today. I've got a bit of making up to do and a lot of news articles focused around, well, first of all, the SEC, but also Ripple. And then I've also got some interesting charts to show you about the corn futures. Now, I know that might sound quite strange. Shout out to my good friend, Mitch Ray. I'm going to cover corn futures near the end of the video because I want to show you how it relates to crypto. And it's something that we taught and we do teach on our fast track course in regards to how all markets are the same. Everyone's emotions in every market is the exact same. So I'm going to show you the corn futures chart and then we're going to chat about it a little bit later on in today's video. But first things first, like I said, let's get some news out the way because there's quite a lot happening and a bit of a mixed bag. So first things first then, the SEC announces a $24 million settlement for the case against Bittrex and its former CEO. Now, why is this important? Well, the SEC, this is what they tend to do. They come after a company, a brand, a CEO, whoever it may be, and all they're really trying to do is settle and get money and trying to cause a bit of upset. And look, here we go again. This isn't the first time, nor is it the last. So let's get into this and explain a bit more in detail. So the SEC then has announced an agreement with crypto trading platform Bittrex and its co-founder and former CEO William Shihara for operating an unregistered security. Does that sound familiar to you? Or an unregistered exchange? Again, same thing. Now, in August 10th, the SEC said Bittrex and Bittrex Global agreed to pay $14.4 million in a disgorgement, which is their payment of their ill-gotten gains. Sorry, I totally made a mess of that. Moving swiftly back on. Then also a further $4 million in pre-judgment interest and then $5.6 million in civil penalties to settle the legal dispute with the federal regulator. The agreement is still subject to court approval, but I'm pretty sure this will go through. For years then, Bittrex worked with token issuers to scrub their online statements of any indica that they were investment contracts, all in the effort to evade the federal securities laws. Today's settlement makes clear that you cannot escape liability by simply changing labels or altering descriptions, because what matters is the economic realities of those offerings. So again, you're starting to see a lot of common kind of wordings, a lot of common garbage, to be honest. It's all the same things that the SEC use, the same wordings, the same just nonsense. Securities laws, evading this, investment contracts, that. Like, it is literally the same old story that they play time and time again until they win, which they never do, but they'll be happy to settle because they're the government. They can scare these companies, they can ruin their future by taking them to courts. What they tried to do with Ripple, they've done it with EOS in the past, they've now done it with Bittrex, they're trying it with Coinbase, they're trying it with Binance, they're even trying it with, who was it I covered earlier on this week? Richard Hart, the Hex guy, they're trying it with him as well. So look, it's something that they're going to be doing a lot more often. Well, they've been doing it quite a lot anyway, but they're going to be doing it a lot more often. And it's just to get money. Like, it's just a way of them getting additional money. They're literally stealing money from these exchanges and from the users and trying to say it's to protect the future. It's looking after investment contracts, yada, yada, yada. Right, cool. Nice one. We do believe that. Anyway, again, here's the official statement. Pause the video and read that if you want, but essentially it's what I've literally just covered. But that was the official tweet on X that they made clear in that. So again, without getting into too much kind of detail, like I said, it's a very, very similar story. However, what we're seeing now is an early settlement rather than it going kind of further to court and a legal battle that we did see with Ripple. Ripple's slightly different, where I do feel like the SEC just have something against Ripple because they're actually trying to kind of better the financial system a little bit and cross-border payments and whatnot. I think they've just got a bit of a grudge or a chip on their shoulder regarding Ripple and their founders, which I'm going to move on to in a second regarding the founders of Ripple. But yeah, the overall point I'm making here is it's the same old story. The government, the SEC, they just want to take money, and they will, and they'll take money from these companies, whether they like it or not. Moving on. Ripple joins the BIS Cross-Border Payments Task Force. Now again, Bank of International Settlements is what BIS stands for, it's the whole point. I briefly touched on it just a sec there ago. This is one of the main points of Ripple and XRP, the kind of token that uses the XRP ledger for cross-border payments. It's faster, cheaper, easier, smoother, just overall much better than the current SWIFT system that we use. Anyone that tries to use or does use SWIFT to send money abroad or cross-border, whatever it may be, knows that there's a hell of a lot of hoops to jump through. IBAN numbers, addresses of the receiver, bank account number, sort code, full name. You know, there's loads of hoops to jump through. There's also no confirmation that the money actually arrives. Now, this is also a reason why people don't really, I believe, see the big deal with Ripple and XRP, because they're not sending money cross-border. You get paid from your paid from your job each month. You maybe send money abroad, or maybe you use money when you're abroad. Maybe that's a better way. Maybe you get a fee from your bank, whatever. So there's never really a use case in Europe, or some people's opinion, for Ripple and XRP. However, if you are the person who sends money cross-border or receives money cross-border, then you'll know how just archaic the current system is. SWIFT, I'm talking about. It does take 3 to 5 working days, depending on who you're sending it to. You may have to add that person as a new kind of payee, or I can't remember the name they use, but a new person to your list, essentially, that needs to go through a few checks before they can agree to send your money abroad. There's loads. Anyway, read up on it. That's all I can say. Read up on SWIFT and how that system works, and then read up on Ripple and what they're trying to do. Anyway, hopefully this article helps out a little bit as well. But the Bank for International Settlement, so the BIS, recently announced a cross-border payments interoperability and extension task force that includes blockchain-based digital payment network, Ripple. So on August 9th, BIS shared a summary of its PI, which is the thing I just mentioned, the payments interoperability and extension. That's a hard few words to say. So they mentioned this back they spoke about it back in May, but they announced it in August, in which it says that the members of the task force will work to enhance cross-border payments and meet the quantitative targets for cross-border payments endorsed by the G20. So the task force is part of the BIS community payments and market infrastructure. Honestly, trying to say all of these big names of all these big fancy like organisations and structures and committees, try and say it all in the one breath. It's pretty difficult. Anyway, here's the official tweet again from the BIS on X. According to the BIS, the PI task force will also enhance cross-border payments by approving access to payment systems, extending payment system operating hours, which again is very, very key because, well, Ripple and XRP can move 24/7, whereas Swift, there's times. And also creating links between different payment systems, including linking application programming, interfaces, and aspects of messaging. So here we go. Here's a kind of list of the task force members. And clearly you can see here this guy, Rene Hugen, or however you pronounce that, is part of Ripple, which is great. Obviously, you still get this guy here, or maybe a lady, not too sure. Sasiska? Not too sure. But yeah, they're part of Swift. So look, you're going to get a lot of people still working for Swift throughout this. Obviously, it's natural. There's not just a click or a flip the switch, as Brad Garlinghouse would say, moment, but there is going to be this slow progression and to start using and testing the Ripple kind of ledger before hopefully in the next 5-10 years maybe sooner, who knows, before we start moving into a bit more kind of usage of Ripple in general. So anyway, nonetheless, pretty exciting. So as a member of the task force, Ripple will work with the other organisations such as MasterCard and Swift to fulfill the BIS's goals to improving the interoperability of cross-border payments. So, again, is this really going to make the price of XRP skyrocket? Probably not. And that's not really what I'm here to tell you or spread or kind of inform you about. Again, this is a news channel and we try and kind of update you with everything that's going on in the background. There's a lot more to crypto than an investment. It's a financial technology at the end of the day. You are investing, or some people are investing, and you need to kind of know what you're investing in. Obviously, that's, again, quite an obvious statement, but please make sure that you are reading up on things like this before you ever make an investment because, yeah, you need to kind of know where your money's going, don't you? So anyway, exciting for me personally as a Ripple and XRP fan. This is good to see. Moving on then, so we have seen, again, the past, 3 days or so, I can't remember exactly when the news dropped, but we have seen some news coming out regarding an appeal process that's been placed by the SEC, and you're seeing a lot of the big Twitter accounts who obviously want attention have been tweeting out that XRP is no longer a security. No, wait, XRP is no longer not a security, and the SEC are coming after it, blah, 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 blah. Right, that's all factually BS. It's all nonsense. Again, you would have hopefully seen the tweets. I'd retweeted a few things and put out a few tweets a few days ago. Hopefully you follow us on Twitter. If you don't, follow us and Certified Crypto. You know who we are now. Go on, follow us and you'll see the few tweets that we have covered. But again, I've mentioned this so many times in the past, especially last month after we've seen XRP get the settlement of, well, I say settlement. We got the confirmation or the clarity that we were after. So after we got that, obviously XRP was a hot topic, and literally everyone, whether they loved or hated XRP, was tweeting about XRP because what do people love on Twitter? Engagement. That's all they care about. They don't care about you. They don't care about your investments. They don't care if you make money, lose money, or whatever. They care about engagement, especially nowadays because Twitter or X pay a lot of these influencers for engagement. So a lot of it is engagement farming, so please watch out for that. However, like I said, everyone and their dog who has never tweeted about XRP decided to start tweeting about XRP. And yeah, just be careful out there. Anyway, I'm going to cover off a few things that have changed or a few updates from that lawsuit. So it's important that you pay attention. Now, the federal judge suggests a Q2 2024 trial for the SEC case against the Ripple executives. Okay, remember that, against the executives. So, let's dive into this in a bit more detail. First of all, if you haven't already, please do like today's video. Help me get some likes on the video. I feel like a common YouTuber. Everyone like the video. If you don't want to, don't do it. It's fine. I don't care that much, but it would be quite nice to see some engagement on today's video. So yeah, like the stream or like the video if you are watching it back. So the judge overseeing the civil case of the SEC versus the Ripple Labs plans to schedule a jury trial starting in the second quarter of 2024. Now, the recent filing then, so Judge Torres said the court would be moving forward with plans for a jury trial for the Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse and co-founder Chris Larsen. The judge gave a deadline of August 23rd for the prosecutors and defence lawyers to submit blackout dates for the trial, but aimed for a start between April 1st and June 30th of 2024. So, this is about Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen, okay? Remember that. It's not about Ripple exactly, it's about Chris Larsen and Brad Garlinghouse. So here's the official kind of document here. If you care so much about it, you can pause the video and read over that. Now, Torres was responsible for ruling that XRP was not a security in regards to the problematic sales. We know that already. The court decision was not a final determination in the SEC Ripple case, and the blockchain firm Garlinghouse and Larsen may still be found liable for other violations. Now, just to be clear, that is a little bit kind of hazy, I think. The judge has confirmed in the SEC versus Ripple case that XRP is not a security for the kind of retail sales that we've seen, hence why we've seen all these relistings. However, the point it's trying to make here, again, it's trying to kind of trip people up and get people thinking. It's not a 100%, the case hasn't been thrown out yet. There's few parts to this case. So it wasn't just a lawsuit against Ripple's kind of retail side. It was against the retail side, the institution side, but also it was against the CEOs and co-founders, so Brad and Chris Larsen. So there's about 3 different parts to this lawsuit. The part that we care about as retail investors is done for. Essentially, it's cleared. We've got the clarity, hence why you've seen that crazy spike in price. However, next, they have to tackle the problematic sales, which is essentially the institution stuff, and then also the CEO and co-founder. All right, so don't believe all the nonsense that you're reading online from Whale Alert. Is it Lally Hepburn or whatever her name is? Layla or Lala? I don't even know what her name is, but she's a massive Bitcoin maxi. There's loads, don't get me wrong, some of these pages are good to follow for general updates in crypto. However, a lot of them are Bitcoin maxis and kind of secret Bitcoin maxis, so that as soon as XRP is in the news, they come after it and they'll make you feel that XRP is rubbish. So anyway, look out for them. You'll see them. You know exactly who I'm talking about. But I'm here to tell you that there's a few parts to this lawsuit, and don't believe everything you see on Twitter, basically. Now, this part here then is just mentioning about the Coinbase stuff. So I mentioned this before. Coinbase is facing its own lawsuit from the SEC, cited Torres' decision on XRP is in a motion to dismiss on August 4th. A different judge overseeing the regulator's case against Terraform Labs largely rejected the Ripple case ruling in a separate motion to dismiss. So again, this isn't just a one case scenario. The SEC are coming after everyone, and well, everyone's talking, and there's so many different people that are involved. Again, I'm going to jump over to the next article in just a sec, but one part I thought was quite kind of interesting was this part here. So it says, a number of high-profile figures in the crypto space face civil or criminal charges in the US. The SEC is currently pursuing civil cases against Coinbase and Binance, we know that, and both former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried and former Celsius Network CEO Alex Maninsky. They were also arrested on criminal charges for allegedly defrauding customers. Now, I would say this is probably more important. Like this part I've highlighted, if you're not looking at the screen, I've highlighted the part about Sam Bankman-Fried and Alex Maninsky. I think that's how you pronounce his name. They are the criminals in this, not Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen, not Ripple. The criminals and the guys who really need to be getting brought to trial and brought to light are these two. But have you noticed that it seems to just have faded away? The FTX stuff is just very, very silent. There's been a few charges dropped, like, and do you know the reason for that? Again, if you remember watching kind of a lot of the things that I've covered over the past kind of, well, year almost, but a few months on this channel with Sam Bankman-Fried, is he was the second largest contributor to the Biden kind of campaign in the US. His father, his mother was friends with Gary Gensler, with the SEC. So they're all part of this big party of just, we'll look out for you if you look out for us type of kind of team. And well, they always look after their own. It's not about who you know. No, wait, it is about who you know. It's not about what you know. It's about who you know. And luckily for Sam, or Sam Bankman-Fried, if you want to call him, or SBF, whatever his names are, he's in a very good position to evade a lot of charges, and he's still worth a lot of money and can still probably use a lot of that money to pay any fines, buy himself out, whatever it may be. So look, those are the people that people should be tweeting about all the time on Twitter. Not Ripple, not XRP, but it's not good engagement to talk about Sam Bankman-Fried or Celsius, the Celsius guy either. It's boring. Doesn't mean much. It's not good for engagement, basically. XRP is good for engagement, and that's all these people on Twitter care about. Remember that. They don't care about you, your investment, what they tell you to invest in. They care about themselves, getting engagement, getting deals from providers or projects because they've got a large following, a large influence. Well, again, look, I'm here to warn you, essentially. Anyway, that's not the news. I'm going off in one. Let's move on to the next one. Hope you're all still with me. Again, if you haven't liked today's video, please like it. Come on, I'm working hard here. I'm bringing you this news. The least you could do is drop me a like. I'll get the likes started on my own phone here. Look at that. I can see when you're liking stuff, and I can see that you haven't liked it yet. So drop some likes. Okay, so this is a good one. Again, very similar to what I've just covered, but the SEC is to seek an appeal and stay in Ripple Labs court case. So again, this is essentially the big news. So in a letter recently kind of published, the presiding judge, so Judge Torres, and the SEC said it believed her decision warrants a fresh look at the appellate court. Now, it asked Judge Torres to put in the case on hold during the appeal, saying there are multiple other pending court cases that could be affected depending on the appeal's outcome. The SEC is currently in a legal battle with a number of firms. Again, I won't mention them, but you already know who they are. Interlocutory? I don't know if that... Interlocutory? Wow. I've butchered that word, and I'm glad I did. Please let me know how bad I mentioned interlocutory review. Yeah, okay. I bet you it's such an easy word, right? But there's something up here in my head that doesn't think that looks normal, and I can't read it. So, look, moan at me in the comments. See if I care. So, there is a review is warranted here, apparently. Maybe that's easier. So, the SEC had wrote that, asking the ruling to be reviewed while the case is still pending. These two issues involve controlling questions of law on which there is a substantial ground for differences of opinion as reflected by an intra-district split that has already developed. Yada, yada, yada. Absolute nonsense. So the SEC added it seeks to certify the court's decision that Ripple's problematic XRP offers and sales on crypto exchanges and individual sales were not securities. Again, Jeremy Hogan, you all know this guy. He's been a huge part of this lawsuit the past kind of year, or well, nearly 3 years. Says here then, and the SEC continues making questionable decisions, requesting, and that word, appeal. Note that this is not appealing whether XRP itself is a security, just it loses on the problematic and individual sales issue. All right, so again, it's not saying that it's a security and it wants to come after it. It's a completely different part. Now, the SEC also highlighted that the judge's decision in the suit against Terraform Labs, who rejected Torres' ruling, saying cryptocurrencies sold on exchanges could also be securities. The letter, again, also comes after we have literally already had the news that it is no longer a security. So why are they now coming back and saying that it's a security? Like, what's... Anyway, look, the main point is what I've already made. It's not coming after Ripple saying XRP is a security. We have that clarity. It's just trying to be awkward and come back after Ripple because they're not happy. Gary Gensler and his crew are not happy with what happened, obviously. And yeah, they're trying to kind of drive the sentiment down. They're trying to just kind of have another pop, another go at Ripple because they know it's big news. And there's potentially good money for them to make if they do need to settle. Anyway, that's all for the kind of lawsuit side of things. I know that was a lot. Thank you for staying tuned. This is a 25-minute episode so far, so thanks for staying in and staying tuned. We have still got quite a bit to get covered, so let's crack on. Now, this is interesting. XRP briefly hits $50 on Gemini as users suspect a relisting price glitch. This is mad. So, crypto users have reportedly seen wonky prices for Ripple's XRP token on the Gemini exchange hours after it relisted the token on its platform for deposits and trading. Now, several crypto community members on X posted screenshots, what many described as a price glitch, and has seen XRP's displayed price on the exchange rise above the $1, obviously, and a number of times, and even spiking to $50. Can you imagine? So yeah, look at that, $50. However, the current market price obviously is 63 cents, right? We get that, we know it's not correct. Hopefully no one thought this was real. This happens, sometimes goes to the downside, sometimes goes to the upside. It's just a quick glitch in the exchange. It's no big deal. So, however, some observers suggest it may have been a result of a thin order book and low liquidity. Given the recent listings, one onlooker in particular said they saw someone place a sell order at $50, adding that someone may have accidentally fat-fingered a market order at that price. So here you go. So apparently someone tried to sell at $50. Very, very interesting. Not sure if it would have been, I don't know how real that may have been, but anyway. While others jokingly commented it was merely a forecast for where the XRP price will go in the future, I don't personally, in my opinion, again, who am I? Just a crazy guy on the internet. Don't take anything from me, but I don't believe that $50 is possible for XRP. But yeah, anyway, some people just seem to think that that's possible. Now, it says here then, Gemini announced it has put its platform into a full site maintenance. We are currently performing maintenance on the Gemini platform, and so all services are currently unavailable. All customers' assets and funds remain secure. We will provide updates here once we have information to share. So again, just a few issues, I guess, with relisting, people trying to buy, sell, trade, whatever it may be. It may just be they haven't kind of set it up properly and they didn't anticipate the actual action that they would receive, and it's kind of caused a bit of an issue with the exchange. But look, no dramas, nothing to worry about. XRP, unfortunately, is not worth $50. But yeah, it looked like it for a brief moment, and if you are to look back at the charts, it looks like it was $50 and it was up an infinity percentage, because I wonder what actually that percentage increase would be from $63 to $50. Sorry, 63 cents to $50. Interesting. But yeah, look, unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that, yeah, XRP is not $50, unfortunately. It's still 63 cents for now. Anyway, moving on. So some other news out with Ripple and XRP. The ETF news now, Deck covered this on the Instagram stories the past few days. But yeah, this is a bit of a hot topic. I mean, I say it's a hot topic. There's not that much really going about it right now. But the SEC has to make a decision on the ARK Invest's Bitcoin spot ETF by Sunday, because it will be a weekend soon, i.e., well, today, essentially. I expect an announcement today. The SEC can either postpone their decision, approve, or deny it. Again, they'll probably deny it. There's no chance they're going to approve a spot ETF right now. Of all times, it wouldn't make sense. I think it will be, well, if anything, it will be a delay, but there is possible they'll deny it for some reason. They denied it, well, I guess they sort of denied it recently because it wasn't quite, the paperwork wasn't quite set up yet. They hadn't put in the exchange they were going to use. But yeah, I think they're probably going to, I would say, maybe, do you know what, actually, I think they might postpone it now. The more I think about it, I am quite bullish, obviously, on the whole ETF stuff. I think they might postpone it. and I think it might be postponed until kind of February. So where's the deadlines here? So they've got third deadline is, well, for them anyway, it's October, then it's not until 2024, so it's January 24, March 24. So yeah, kind of what I've been saying the whole time, they've got until the end of February, March of next year to approve it. I believe you might see a bit of a buy the rumour, sell the news type of event coming over the next few months with the ETF as we start getting closer to the final deadline. But yeah, I can't see this second deadline going ahead. There's deadlines in October for the other ones as well. Remember, these are all kind of American dates, so they're a bit backwards. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see an approval, basically. And then another one I wanted to show you before I look at the corn stocks. This is quite interesting. So again, just a chart again from that same person that I'd found on Twitter. If I can bring this up. Here we go. So this is pretty cool. He's put out here saying like his plan to either buy Bitcoin, do nothing, or scale out. So in this region here, so up until about kind of 31k, I suppose, he's planning on buying Bitcoin. Between kind of 31k and I think that's about 80k, do nothing. Just sit and wait for the prices to rise higher. But then between the kind of $80,000 and $180,000, he's planning to scale out. So look, it's quite it's very, very basic, right? It's a very, well, it's only 3 different coloured boxes with 3 different plans. But I quite like the look of that. In my opinion, that's something maybe I will plan to do. I mean, I haven't bought Bitcoin in a while now, so I feel like it's too high for me personally to buy. But yeah, I mean, doing nothing between that kind of region is probably something that I will do. And then the scaling out will probably take part, maybe a little bit higher for me, I'm a bit more degenerate. But yeah, personally, I quite like the look of that. And I thought I'd share it to see if it was kind of something that you've seen before or something you've planned before to do in the future. Okay, now let's get into this, right? Let me just open up on a larger screen for you. Okay, so check this. This is corn futures, right? Nothing to do with crypto, nothing to do with anything that I would ever kind of look at. However, Mitch Ray, again, my man Mitch Ray, speaks about this. Mitch Ray will trade anything from orange juice futures, corn futures, Bitcoin, stocks, Under Armour, whoever it may be. Any stock, crypto, anyone can get it as far as Mitch is aware, or Mitch is as far as he goes, because he's a stock trader or he's a chart trader. He reads charts and trades the charts, right? So the point I'm bringing this kind of to your attention is this article or this tweet shows the price of corn futures on a daily. So this goes back, this is what, August till April. So again, over the past kind of 6 months, we have seen a bit of kind of price volatility. But the other kind of main point I wanted to show you here was the news articles that is also kind of tied to this and what's happened with these kind of news articles. So to kind of talk through a couple of them here, you've got quite a lot of China cancels. Again, something we've seen in crypto for years and years and years. Then we've seen here, which is quite interesting, planting delays due to the wetness. We've seen a massive green candle. Then again, we see the cancel. But then here, corn planting progress back on schedule. Fantastic. This is what we like to see. The bottom is in, the bottom is confirmed, and the only way is up for corn. Again, subsoil moisture problems begin to be noticed. So a bit of kind of fear in the market. We start to kind of, I don't know, kind of not really do much, a bit of a kind of resistance. Again, I'll get into this in a bit more detail, but as you see here, we've started to kind of spike up. But this line here, again, hopefully looking at your screen and you can see my mouse here, there is a bit of support resistance here, and it's maybe why this news has come out saying that there's some moisture problems. Again, we've managed to break out of it, and then we've back tested it before we've broken out again. Maybe, would you say that's a final back test? Again, there or thereabouts, maybe a wick down to just a final kind of back test before it really kind of confirms to break out. Then the news article here was subsoil moisture problems continue, and the drought spreads from 34% of Corn Belt to 70% during this period. But yeah, again, what we're seeing is just upwards price movement in the corn futures. before we see a bit of an all-time high, I guess, for that period where it starts to kind of fall back. And the news is that US corn conditions are reported at 50% good to excellent, the lowest reading in over a decade. So that's probably quite positive news, would you say? But the chart is falling. Now, why is that? That tends to happen in crypto. We speak about that a lot. You'll see bad news. Again, you'll see the really, really bad news here to try and drive the price down. Then you'll see quite good news here at the top because no one wants to be buying it down here. It's getting cancelled. It's not allowed in China, whatever it may be. Scare you out of the market. Prices drop. People buy it. A little kind of mild scare, but then boom, a rally to the upside before we start to see some fear again, some positive news put out, trying to get people to buy back into the market. Again, the same kind of action we've seen here. And then the news, again, just boom, all the way down. And then the USDA reports unexpected increase in corn acres planted. Corn is down 44 cents. So for whatever reason, at this point, which again is this same support and resistance level, for whatever reason at this support and resistance, they've decided that, there's been an unexpected increase in corn being planted. The price is going to dump. Boom, price dumps. So again, there's always a narrative that gets tied to this, but actually it's a support and resistance. It tried to kind of test it as support. It failed. It then kind of broke through, and that was it. It crashed back down to these lower levels, which again, if you're to zoom out and look at this over a larger period, this will probably be quite a kind of solid support and resistance again for corn futures. Hopefully you're following along here. If you are still watching today's video, this is very, very informative. So please make sure that you're listening. It's not something that I would normally spend my time trying to educate you on. However, I want to try and show you the differences in the realization of how markets all move the same regardless of what they are, right? So again, here we go. Subsoil moisture improves across the hardest hit areas. So again, a bit of a kind of unsure part in the market. People are a bit bullish, bearish, not sure what's going on. Again, before we see here, the Black Sea grain deal officially ends, and then boom, another price kind of movement. Again, testing support, resistance, trying to break through, failing, rolling back on itself before we're kind of sitting where we're at just now. So look, again, the point I'm trying to make here, right? Please make sure that you educate yourself in charts. It's super, super important to understand charts and how news articles are tied to charts. Because I've just showed you here, the news articles weren't all that great and the price went up. The news articles were great at the top and the price went down. Why is that? It's the opposite. Well, look, it's something that we can help you with, something that we can train you with, we can educate you fully on the charts to make sure that you're not buying and selling tops of crypto, obviously is what we invest in. However, if you're a stock investor in general, you understand charts. Understanding charts across any market is super, super important, whether you're an investor or not, or whether you just like to follow what's going on in the world. So yeah, look, we can help you understand charts in trading if you really want to do that. And yeah, it would make sense that when you look at a chart like this, you understand why it goes up and down and up and down, and why it gets stuck at certain price levels. It's not by chance. It's not because of the news. It's not because someone's banning it or whatever. There is mathematical reasons why these prices will hold or kind of break through or whatever. So look, anyway, that's all I wanted to cover on the corn futures chart. Bit of a different one for this episode, but a bit of a free education piece to make up for the past few days of coffee and crypto. If you are looking to learn about trading, by the way, we have a course starting tomorrow. It's a full one-day intense course on charts, emotions and trading. Bit last minute, I know, but if you are interested, drop a comment below this YouTube video and I will get back to you with potentially a special offer to get you on board. We've got a couple of spots left and I'd love to kind of chat more about corn futures. Maybe we'll go into detail on this chart as well. But yeah, I'd love to just bring you up to speed with how to read charts properly and not kind of fall for what you see on Twitter. Anyway, that's all for me. Today's episode has been longer than usual, but hopefully you have managed to get through the full episode. If you have managed to watch this whole 40-minute episode, drop me a comment and say, I made it till the end. I would appreciate that and love to see the comments for everyone that did. If you do need anything else from me over the weekend, of course, you can, well, first of all, come to the course tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow if you are coming. But next, you can then join our Discord community where we chat about these things each and every single day. It's called CC Pro. You can see it on your screen here, and there is a link in today's description to get on board. You're missing out if you don't. There's over 2,000 active members currently, and we are growing each and every single day. So look, let us help you, help yourself in the market, and yeah, I will see you all very, very soon for another episode of Coffee and Crypto. Have a good weekend.